Hey guys, welcome to this question and answer session with the Pattern Trader. My name is Mark Shawzin, the Pattern Trader. I'll be taking any questions you have for the next 20 minutes or so. Um, just kind of looking at all the markets here. Gold has kind of exploded today. The stock market is lower in the morning session, but I'm kind of buying into this dip. Kind of think that we had a huge, sell off last week, and I think this may be the time to start putting your foot in the water with some of these names that have sold off in the last couple of weeks, like Uber, CRM, Salesforce, maybe even Tesla. I don't know. I started buying Tesla today. Hey, day trading, how you doing? You guys have had a hard time in the crypto space last couple of days. Are you trading cryptos? I know Elon Musk has not been friendly to you guys. Don't understand what that guy is doing. He's got so many brands to protect, and he's playing this. I don't know what he's doing out there. Yeah, I mean, cryptos have come off 30%. Yeah, well, you can't change trading like you change your underwear. You've got to kind of, don't go where the popularity is. Just trade where the sanity is. So, day trading, I look at all of the markets. I don't trade cryptos right now. Kind of missed the boat on that, but certainly didn't want to start changing it. Chasing things at these FOMO prices. My wife is a devout crypto player, and I was worried. I always tell her, don't get married to your trades. She is a devout follower of TikTok and all these followers on crypto. And yeah, to me, whenever I see parabolic moves, things that go straight up like this, they always come straight back down. So parabolic moves always end in tears. It doesn't matter what, and every time they say this time is different, but it's not different. Hey Ali, how you doing? Let me know what you guys are trading. Dog says Peloton, the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, so to my mind, some of these, I don't know about that. Peloton's kind of back and forth. Really don't know what stocks want to do right now. They caught a bit of a bottom last week, and they're all over the place. Um, so some environments are better than others. So I always trade the setup. So I always look at a setup based on risk and reward. In the last couple of weeks, I've been short QuantumScape and I've been short Zoom, to some degree, short Peloton and Beyond Meat. And those charts have been very, very bearish. But last week, I started getting a sense that there was a bit of a bottom down there. We started to see some price action that suggested that there was some support. And so I'm kind of playing some of these names now to the upside. I started buying some calls in Uber, ticker symbol UBER. I bought some calls in CRM, Salesforce. Now, all of these names are down this morning in lower trading in the first hour of trading, but I don't know. I think that this may be a good opportunity to buy some of these names. I really like the price action of Uber. It sold off a lot in the last couple of weeks. I'm starting to get a sense that there is some support down here. It's trading at around $47. I bought the $49 calls right around here, and we'll see what happens. Hey Dan, how you doing? Damon, Edith, how are you? So, what are you guys trading? What are your guys' thoughts? What are you looking at? What do you want to trade? So, I'm kind of starting to feel like there may be just a fuzzy bottom in here. These tech stocks have had a huge sell-off in the last couple of months. I've had a field day. I've made probably seven figures trading, QuantumScape and Zoom and Beyond Meat on the short side. But I'm starting to get a feeling that there's a bit of a bottom down here in Zoom. Beyond Meat still looks terrible. BYND still looks very, very bearish. I'm starting to take a nibble at Tesla right here on the long side. Like I said, I bought some calls in Uber. Ollie says, "What are your thoughts on the Dow and the S&P?" So I still think they look like they have gas in the tank. They still feel like maybe there's some upside left. Let me just kind of take a look at it. So we're in a tricky area here. If we fail right here, you could have the start of a kind of a funky looking double top. It's still very early in the week. It's very early in the day. But if we kind of stall out here, it could, it could get tricky. It could really stall out. But I don't know. I still feel like there's some gas in the tank here to the upside. But clearly, I'm going to watch to see how we close. I mean, right now we have a reversal in the Dow, made a new high earlier in the day. We're trading on the low. We're only an hour into the session, so anything can happen. But I don't know. I mean, if it looked like this at the end of the day, I'd say it looks like pretty dicey here. But this is very early in the day. I still feel like there's another push to the upside here. So it's tricky. The last couple of weeks have been really kind of easy. These Nasdaq stocks have been really coming down well, and so one of the names I've been following is QuantumScape. Today we got as high as 29, and we're backing up. So yeah, it still feels like, I don't know. We're trying to dig in a bottom here. Severe says, I trade Forex. Can we get some visibility on Forex? So I've been trading these yen pairs, the euro yen and the pound yen. They're trading at their highs. They're looking like very interesting trades. Gold has taken off. Gold hit my take profit. I was looking for take profit around 1860. Today, gold is trading at about 1864. I've been, heavily long the pound versus New Zealand dollar. This is a trade that I've been talking about for a long time. Pound versus New Zealand dollar. And today it's taking off again. Every couple of days it gets hammered 200-300 pips. And I know it's very easy to, get dissuaded by that price action. But to me, pound New Zealand, is probably the best trade on the board right now. It's very volatile. You got to be able to have a lot of risk in there. Don't go in there with a 25 pip risk. But I think if you're willing to buy and hold, pound New Zealand's at 196, and I see that going a lot higher. Cyprian wants to look at RUN. Yeah, so this stock looks pretty weak to me. This is in a head and shoulders price pattern. It's trading at or near the last week's weekly lows. Let me just put some more time up here. Yeah, this looks very bearish to me, RUN. I like this a lot on the short side. Yeah, it's trading, I just have to see it's trading at or near the weekly lows. So I like this very much on the short side, Cyprian. I'm going to actually write that down and follow that name. I like that very much on the short side. RUN. So in order to trade this, what I would do is today we've got a very narrow inside day bar. I'd see where it's kind of settles out, and I'd be inclined to put a sell stop under the low. So Mustafa, I don't know what trade you're referring to about which one you want to close. If you're in pound New Zealand, I would not close that. Cyprian says FTCH. FTCH. This also looks like, it's coming down. Last week we caught a bid in all of these trades, and let me just see what the QQQs look like right now. Yeah, so we're starting to fail today. The stock market's in a really tricky area right now. Really tricky. It's in a support zone. It's in a resistance zone. All of these stocks are, hovering on this major support trend line. I don't know if they're going to catch one more bump, run off that, or they're just going to collapse under here. If we collapse under last week's lows in the NASDAQ, then I'd say that, we likely have a long way down, 316.5. So we're trading about 323 right now. So we're just trading in this middle zone. I hate, these kind of things where, you could kind of see it one way or another. So probably better just to let things settle out. Let me just check Uber one more time. So I don't know. I still, I like Uber into the sell-off. I bought some calls on Uber today, but I could be completely wrong. This feels like such a squishy environment. So sometimes, I really have, a great feeling. And sometimes you're just in this middle zone where it's just a chop zone. It's just a churn. So Dog says WRK slow climb. Yep, the tortoise wins the race. I was telling our members about WRK. Mustafa, I'll answer your question. And so, I was looking at WRK at 49 and 50, 51, and then it went 2 months sideways between 50 and 54. And now it's trading at 61. And I think that thing's going to go and make new highs. It's going to go above 70. So Mustafa, in terms of gold, it's like it's broken through that resistance line that I showed you over the weekend. I don't know. I would take partial profits here. It's gone a lot further than I thought it would. I probably would be inclined to take partial profits on gold. So Mustafa says he's 40% profitable on gold. So yeah, let me just take a quick look at gold. So I just want to see where this resistance line comes in here real quick. So it's right at this resistance line. Yeah, I would maybe bank some Mustafa. Up here you can always re-enter. Nice problem to have. Yeah, good trade. You could put a trailing stop loss, although this thing is so volatile. So I don't know. I would bank 20% of my position here, and can always get back in. Dog says, what about dollar Canadian? Dollar Canadian is something that I have been also short. It's trading at, just a hair under this 21 area. I think there's going to be some, support that kicks in between 119 and 120. But, this thing looks so bearish. And, like I said, you could probably bank if you've been short, like our members have. I've been short for 3 weeks in dollar Canadian, and haven't really felt the urgency to get out of my positions. So let me just stick up the chart here. We're heading to the support area, but I don't see that it's going to bounce significantly. So I think anything under 120, you probably get some support. So I've got to take profit around the 119 area on dollar Canadian. So Ali says, can you repeat Pound New Zealand? So Pound New Zealand to me has been in this stealth bull mode for a long time. We're trading at just around the 196 area again. So I thought that we put in a double bottom at 185, several months ago. And with the word bottom in it, that means that thing has bottomed out. And then we went 2 months sideways between, 185, 190. And then we kind of broke out to 198. Then we crashed back to 192. So it's been a real, whipsaw type of thing. But to me, it's, I buy the dips on Pound New Zealand. And now, I don't know, I would, I like this. I think that this thing is setting up, and I think you're going to have a huge move higher in Pound New Zealand. It's always been my instinct. It still is. And so now you can see that the stock market is turning around a little bit. I like Uber today. So, 10 minutes ago, Uber was trading around the $47 area. Now it's trading $47.30. I think you could, buy Uber here on this dip. Daniel says, what about DraftKings DKNG? I like that as a short, and I missed it. So I was really upset that I missed it, because I was looking for that and it came off before I could even get a position on it. And now it's kind of a leave it alone. It's in this, support area around the, $35 area. You may get a bid here. I would just kind of leave that one alone. Chris says, what about Bitcoin? So, I've been waiting for this thing to crash. Like I said, all parabolic moves, I just don't like them. Bitcoin is this parabolic move, and, whatever goes up that fast can't sustain itself. It's like, it's Elon Musk who's been blamed for all this stuff. But, if one guy can send out a tweet and crash a market 30%, then how viable is that market? So I don't know. I think it looks like it's, got some trouble up here. It's kind of, surprised to see Ether crash as much as it did. But, I don't really, I don't trade cryptos. I missed the boat. Obviously I'm pissed. There was a nice ride to be had. I was in Bitcoin at one point. I took a small loss. I never got back in. And then I just never wanted to chase it on the way up. So I don't really have any thoughts on. I mean, cryptos are just I don't know. It's a market in its infancy. I don't understand it. I don't understand the valuations. Nobody's been able to explain to me how Bitcoin is valued. So to me, it's just arbitrary. And I mean, most things in life are. I mean, gold's kind of arbitrary. What we decide the value of gold, it's just a kind of a social contract. So just, I don't know. This crypto space is, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not trading it right now. I have a feeling if you missed it, I wouldn't chase it right here. Hey Wong, how you doing, Daniel? Let me know what you guys are doing, what you're thinking. This is, I like to have a two-way conversation, not me, always spouting off here. So, yeah, I've been looking at these yen trades. To me, they look very interesting. Euro yen, pound yen are on the cusp of major resistance levels. So let me take a look at silver real quick, Mustafa. At these, silver's at 28. The resistance about 30. So silver hasn't quite hit its resistance the way gold has. It looks like it, we'll have a pretty clear run from here to probably $29-30, Mustafa. So you could probably hang on to that. These metals are. So RP says Lyft looks like Uber, bet on both. So I was, favorable to Lyft for the last couple of months. And I suppose you could try either one. Lyft was outperforming Uber. Now Uber seems to kind of have a little bit better feel than Lyft. And, I'm just taking a light crack at these. Marius says, what do you think about light? Is that Litecoin? Like I said, I would probably put all cryptos under, one. Let me see, Litecoin, LTC. Haven't looked at Light in a while. It hasn't done as well as Ether. It looks like it's kind of going up in this ratcheting thing. It's also hanging on this long-term support line. If it takes out that support line, it looks like it'll be in trouble. Oh, no, Lumentum, you meant? Okay. LITE. I don't know. It's had a gap down last week. It's kind of clawing its way back. Yeah, this looks like it's kind of over. That I would look for another kind of rally to sell into that. It's kind of in this huge range right now between 70 and 90. So kind of tough to tell right here. Yeah, so the stock market to me, has been like really easy, kind of seeing certain setups, and now it's kind of gotten pretty quirky where you had these major bear patterns, and then last week it looks like you dug in. I don't know if that was just a short-term, footholder, placeholder for, just a quick reaction bounce, and then we're going to go back into the trend. And So, I always say you just got to find your risk reward trade. And, in the last couple of weeks, looking at Zoom, looking at QuantumScape, looking at Beyond Meat, I could easily see the pattern, the price action, which would then translate to a certain follow through. Now you're just in this tricky zone. You've made substantial lows. These things have been hammered for 8 months. You kind of caught a bit of a place last week where you found some support. Now you're just kind of bouncing in between. And now it's just going to be, trying to sort it out. If that was just a short-term bounce, if we're going to get a bigger rally out of here. So certain days, certain times are, better than others. So, Peloton had this short-term bounce, and now we're kind of failing again today. And so the question is, does it go back, in the direction of this last 8-month trend, or does it continue to, find support in here? I still kind of feel like a little support was created last week, and that some of these names, will find, I started buying CRM last week. I was early. It's off today. I don't know. We'll see how today ends. It's kind of like a nothing day right now. I mean, all the action is in gold and silver. So our members, I sent out buys on gold and silver last week, and those are going up, huge. They're also gold's in now a resistance level, so it's one of these inflection points. How do we dance around this inflection point? And so I think this is really what I've, really learned how to do. So I used to have a very static view of, I draw a structure. I draw a double top. I draw a head and shoulders. I draw a triangle. And then I kind of have a fixed view on what, that thing should do. And now what I do is I put the boundaries around prices, and then I let the market do the dancing. I let the market tell me within that structure, within that cadence, what it looks like it wants to do. So, we have the structure on this NASDAQ where we have this uptrend line. A lot of these stocks are dancing around this uptrend line. Tesla kind of broke through that uptrend line last week. And now, my expectation is typically you get a retest. Once you break out of these certain zones, you usually get a retest. So I'm kind of expecting that Tesla should get a bounce in here. I'm kind of long right now. I'm taking a bit of a hiding. We're in this kind of support zone. It does look ugly. I mean, Tesla does look pretty ugly. It broke through this support last week, and it really does look ugly. I don't know why I'm long, but I did get long. I just get a feeling that last week we just put in a bit of a bottom on some of these ugly names, and the day is young. Let's see how we end up. So Nanako says, "What's your price target?" So it looks like CRM put on that double bottom at around the 201 area, rallied to 234, came back down last week. It looks like it's putting kind of a rounding bottom here. And I mean, if this thing, acted, I mean, this is still kind of in this downtrend and it could just collapse from here. But if somehow we did get some traction and we, got a foothold here, I can't see any reason why we don't go back to that 235 minimum. Wong says gold has had a good upward move today. What will be the next possible resistance? So Wong, we are sitting right at weekly and monthly, resistance line. If you connect where it made a new high at 2100, if you connect where it made an interim high around 1950, and where we are today, we're right kissing that resistance line. So now, typically, things can give a head fake. You can go through the resistance line, create a bull trap and turn around, or you can consolidate here to put on another push higher. So, gold is at this major inflection point. It looks great. It, looks fantastic. I'm long from 1831. It's now 1864. I'm going to start peeling out of some of my positions here. And then I'll look and see how it dances at this level. But we are right at, a do or die kind of inflection point. It's going to hang out here and consolidate, and then the next push is, who knows, 2,500, or we go lower from here. So we're just at an interesting point. This is just at a point where you can lose some money because it just there's some ambiguity at certain levels here. Foreign says, as you mentioned, you trade live. Is it every week, 4 days you trade live? So I am doing a webinar tonight, a free live session. Let me just ask my support team what the link is. Maybe I'll get that to you. I am doing a free day 4 live session starting tonight at 4:30 p.m. Each day. So Nananko says, TradingView has a sell rating for CRM. You said you're buying it. So look, I mean, it's either going to hold up or it's not. I kind of let the market do the thinking. I thought I saw a double bottom here, a bit of a rounding bottom. I can see that there is resistance here. There's a key reversal in CRM. This is Salesforce on May 7th at 221. And, that may be the guiding thing. And maybe I should have heeded that. I may just dump my position today. So I'm going to see how the market closes today. The stock market is really betwixt and between. I can make a case that it's making a major new high right here. I can also make a case that, we could push and, have an explosive move to new highs. So I'm kind of, just watching right now the price action. I'm lightly long some of these stocks. I'm long Uber. I bought some call options right here. The $49 call is expiring at the end of this week. It was a bold call. I paid about 55 cents for them. We'll see how that goes. I'm lightly long Tesla, although it looks like I have no right to be. I just feel What is the Russell IW? I should know what this is. IYW or something like that. Um, IWR. IWR. So yeah, the Russell. Look, it looks like these stocks could have made this high last week, and now we're just fading here, and this could be it, and it very possibly could be. So I'm looking at the IWR, Ava, the Russell Mid Cap. The IWM is probably the large cap. So, we're just in this huge trading band where you could say this is, tracing out a top, but it's also, got some support. So I could see it either way right now. I'm probably going to get clobbered today because the market is, it's been slowly, certainly these second tier tech names are, like Beyond Meat looks terrible. BYND, it's now hovering again around the 100 mark. It looks like it's ready to collapse. So, BYND looks probably like the best short out there. And maybe QuantumScape. QuantumScape went and made this new high today, and it looks like it's failing. So maybe it has a key reversal today, and I get back on that horse, short that stock. But I don't know. The way kind of Zoom and Peloton supported. So Zoom, that looked terrible a couple of weeks ago, to me kind of looks like it may be a buy here. You put in a little double bottom at 275 on Zoom. Price action is kind of hanging around here. Ticker symbol ZM. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that, bolt higher. So I don't know. I'm a little confused in here. I see some bottoming action, whereas the last several weeks I was, dead certain. So you just have to find the stocks that, or commodities or anything that you understand where there's a risk and reward set up that you can see very clearly. The Nanko wants to know about AYX. Yeah, that looks like it's dripping lower. Yeah, this looks terrible. Let me just go to the weekly really quick. Wow, this looks like a fantastic short. So I learn a lot from you guys. I'm going to look at this name, AYX. This looks like it has a massive long-term triple top, head and shoulders. It's sitting on this neckline, and it looks like it's about to get nailed. We had this key reversal in, let me see, all the way back last March at a low of around 74.85, and we're there right now. I like this a lot on the short side. So, Nanako, if you're long this, I would cut your losses because this thing looks like it could go over a cliff. It's hanging on by a thread, and this looks like I can't really. It was like kind of QuantumScape a couple of weeks ago, where Mustafa and others were on this webinar, and I said I just can't I can't draw any scenario where I can see that thing going higher. So if something's not going to go higher, it eventually means it's going to go lower. So Nanako, if you're long this name, I would be inclined to get out here. I can't see anything that's going to push this thing substantially higher. And frankly, I'm going to take a look at shorting this name after we're done with this this webinar. Stefan says I got short on CHD. Yeah, I don't know if I would short this. See, I don't know if I would. There is some resistance here. Yeah, I wouldn't. Not saying it won't go down. There's a giant resistance area here. It just looks like, if you look at the two names, if you look at AYX, it's got this, you know, downward sloping curve. If you look at CHD, it's kind of got upward sloping into resistance. So, if you're going to short one name or the other, I'd go with AYX. Um, so, and then Anchor says, thanks for the advice. Glad to be of help. Daniel says, do you still keep your 1% risk when you add to positions like QuantumScape? So, yeah, I mean, that's what you should do. Sometimes when I see that something's so in my favor, I tend to, stack the chips a little bit more. I don't really even calculate risk. I just just go all in because I really can't see, the risk sometimes. And then when, something's, working in my favor and then I can see another place to add, then if you're adding when you already have profits, you already have less risk. Because even if it comes back a little bit, you still have all the profits from above. So, I do like adding two positions, and it's a good idea to keep your, if you start with, let's say, a 1.5% initial risk, then you've made some money, and then you do a new add, you probably should, add like a 0.5% or 0.75% risk on the new add. So Steven says, how do you think XRP is going to go? Is that Ripple? I know Ripple's got a thing with the SEC. I have no clue. What's your feeling on Freeport McMoran? What is that? FWC? What is that symbol? F. ICPT. So this is also, profound downtrend. Yeah, this is, either short it or leave it alone. Probably just leave this thing. Yeah, so this is, in a profound downtrend, ICPT. So I would short any rally in that. Freepoint is FCX. That is in a, huge bull commodity run, and it looks like that run will, keep on going. Obviously we've got some resistance here at 46. It was the first time we had a bit of a turn down last week in these commodity names, but the path of least resistance seems higher. You just have to have a pretty long-term view. So that's why I still think, the industrials probably are not going to flame out quite yet, but it's very possible that they do. I still think we have, many more months to run on this kind of inflation, on this stimulus kind of thing. But, the markets do need a rest. Sometimes they pause, give a 20% sell off, and then get going again. Nanaka says, do I think the federal interest rate will be raised soon? I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about that. Would you recommend buying insurance and banking stocks? So I buy things because I like price action. So, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, all of these have been running and look like they're running higher. They have great chart patterns. The path of least resistance seems, higher. And, I expect that will be the case for a while. Disney had a bit of a sell-off here. Yeah, it looked like it, kind of got into this double top at this 203, had this descending wedge. We've kind of broken out of that. Let me kind of look at some of these weekly charts to see where the next support is. Yeah, so it looks like you could get, another pullback to, whatever this level is. So there's a huge uptrend line that hits um, about about the high 150s, low 160s. So it is possible that you continue getting that pullback. There is kind of this bar right here at around 162 that I think will hold this pullback in check. But yeah, it looks like Disney is still somewhat under pressure. Canada Goose looks like it stalled out at this $42 area. Yeah, I would kind of leave that alone for now. So, nothing really going on here. I like the fact that Zoom is hanging in at the higher end of its range and hanging, higher for the day. Beyond Meat is looking really ugly and looking at the low end. So there's stocks to buy and stocks to sell. CRM, not getting much traction here. I'll probably end up blowing that out by the end of the day if it looks bad. At GK Silver, XAG USD is, a hair above 28. Looks like the next resistance, between 29 and 30. I'm kind of using this resistance in gold right here at about, 1864. Just check and see where gold is right now. It's about 1865. So gold is doing well. Silver is about 28.12 on the spot. So it looks like these metals are catching a bid. Nanenko, never too many questions. Happy to answer anything. I look at these markets all day long, so I'm happy to and you guys give me some names. I'm going to definitely put this AYX and RUN on my cheat sheet here, and see what the price action is. Today's a very squishy day. I feel the way the NASDAQ, the QQQs finished last week, the range on Friday, it kind of had a gap up, close on the high. To me, that doesn't feel like an exhaustion day. Typically when I expect, markets to reverse, I don't expect like you have a gap up, close on the high. What I want to see is, you make a new high, close on the low, and then I can see a path lower. So that's why I just think this move in the QQQs lower, today just feels like it's unresolved, that it still needs to kind of, go higher. Although I can certainly make the case, if you start having these reversals in the S&P and the Dow, that this could be a place where it starts reversing from. I could start seeing these formations, but I don't know. I still feel like we may just dig in right here in these indexes. So I'm not ready to write the epitaph just yet. I kind of have a sneaking feeling that this is an area to buy Zoom, buy Uber, maybe buy Tesla. So we'll. Tarade, I said XAU USD, the resistance is right here. It's a do or die for gold right in this area. It's on this long-term weekly and monthly downtrend line around the 1860 to 1865, I thought was where, and if so far it's hanging in. So let's see how we do here. I would be inclined to pocket 25% of my gains right now. I've had a huge thrust from the 1830 to the 1860 level now. And I'm gonna take a little off the table here, even though it looks so great. So I don't know. I just I get this feeling that this is a good place to buy the Nasdaq, and I've been very bearish on the Nasdaq. for the last couple of weeks. And I just get the feeling that, the sell-off we've had in the last couple of weeks may have done its job for now. So, Stefan wants to know about HPQ. Yeah, this looks like, it was heading higher. It had a nice pullback, and it's probably, it's hugging this ascending trend line. And, if it digs in here, you might get another push to a new high from here. Nazine wants to know about Euro New Zealand. So I like pound New Zealand. I'm long pound New Zealand. I expect that. Where's my euro? So my traditional charts collapsed right before I started this, and so I'm kind of just going to my MetaTrader here, which is. So yeah, it looks like Euro New Zealand is also bottoming here. And I think this is a good example of like I said, at the beginning, I draw my structure and then I have a certain expectations on how things are going to go. And then the market always has another thought. And I think the Euro New Zealand is a great example of that, where if you look at Euro New Zealand, it has this massive, huge double top, which we then thought once the neckline was, penetrated, under like 170, that, it would open up a huge move lower. And instead we've created what it looks like a bear trap, where we went lower, grabbed a bit of a double bottom here. And then now it looks like we're, doing this rounding bottom here. And I think it's a trap. I think Euro New Zealand in fits and starts probably starts going higher, but, I like pound New Zealand a little bit better, but, I think that we're kind of trying to find a bottom in these, Euro New Zealand trades. Cyprian says, Beyond Meat is crashing at the moment. Yeah, so I'm, been very bearish Beyond Meat. I think this thing goes to $60 long term. So yeah, it looks like these things are failing. It looks like Uber's failing, and it just feels really squishy today. Baron says, with the current crypto failures, does it have a positive effect on metals? So I do not think in terms of correlations. I don't think if the NASDAQ, goes down, then, gold's going to go up, or Bitcoin's. I mean, I think they all are their own animals, and they all have their own kind of. So I look at the integrity of each chart to make, a risk reward thing. I don't think, if oil's going up, then the Canadian dollar is going to go down, or, there's all these, correlations. So, during the last 6 months or so, the dollar was crashing, but so was gold. Gold crashed from $2,100 to $1,700 at the same time that the dollar crashed, or the dollar, went up. And so, you can't get into these, correlations. It's just very dangerous to do that. You have to look at the risk reward of each trade. And so, so what about the energy trade? So, the energy looks like, it's still hanging in there. Path of least resistance is still higher. We're at resistance levels, but I don't really see any major chart patterns right now that suggest that we're going to get, a huge pullback. Somebody says, can you please tell us what the relationship between the treasury bond yield and the stock market? It's a pretty involved discussion, but it's a good one, because at some point, you know, investors buy things based on the risk-free rate of return. So if I can get 1.6% yield now on 10-year Treasury bonds, then that all of a sudden starts to compete with stocks. So typically, investors have allocations between bonds and stocks, and in certain eras, you want to be more in one and lighter in the other. And so as those yields start getting up, it starts competing. The average yield on the S&P 500 is 1.5%. So now you can get a risk-free rate of return in a U.S. Treasury. So now you don't have to take risk to get that 1.5%. So it starts, competing, at some point. But it's a tricky relationship because as inflation goes higher, it tanks the price of bonds, which makes interest rates go up. So your bond portfolio starts going lower, and for a while, there's certain sectors of the stock market will do well in inflation. I think the consumer staples area, Costco and some of these steel companies and what have you, they are going to still do well. So it's a very tricky, but at some point, and certainly with the emerging growth stocks, this is where the real problem is as inflation ticks up and yields go up, because companies like QuantumScape and Zoom don't have revenues. All of their earnings are projected out into the future. And so if inflation goes up, it makes the value of those cash flows worth less. It makes the present value of those cash flows worth less because inflation erodes, the money value. So when you have to discount those future valuations, and now inflation is eroding them, it makes those future cash flows worth less, and that's why you've seen this huge compression in Zoom from 588 to 288. And that's what inflation does. But you'll see other stocks like WRK and Costco and other things do well in this environment. So it's very tricky. It depends what stocks you're in, which stocks are more exposed to higher interest rates. So it's a very tricky discussion. And it all comes down to what you're looking to achieve on your portfolio. I have a lot of money just sitting in Costco and consumable companies that are, just not exciting. They have a dividend and they will go up over time. And I think they will keep going up in this inflationary environment. Other stocks like QuantumScape and Zoom and others will get hammered in an inflationary environment. And the question we have to answer is this, the Fed is saying this is transitory, meaning we're having these bursts of inflation, but it may not be sustainable. They want to see it sustained for a certain level of time before they pull the trigger. So Home Depot and Walmart, I think, Cyprian, these companies are, I think a lot of them are announcing earnings this week. I think Walmart goes tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And let me see what's going on with Walmart. Kind of looks like it's in a resistance level here. Yeah, it looks not so good. Of all of them, I like Costco, C-O-S-T. It also kind of hit like a double top up here, but I don't know. Costco seems like a really reliable engine for the long run. Taradice, do you think silver is ready to reverse? So I never try and anticipate reversals. I always let the market tell me, if it's going to reverse. And so right now, silver is in an upward trajectory, and we don't see any reversals. What I mean by reversal is that the market makes a new high and then closes on the low, and maybe it does that on a huge range day, and then we know that there's resistance at a certain area. But guessing where it is just arbitrary. So Nananko says TCB Bank owns TBC. Yeah, this thing looks heavy to me. I don't like the look of this chart. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of resistance here on TBC. And BGEO. I don't know what that is. It's not really coming up. Yeah, a lot of these prices are starting to weaken now. So I'm getting the feeling that we could be, at a serious apex in the stock market. And I'm kind of, I got out of my QuantumScape last week at 26.30. Today it ran to 29 and we're back to 27. I probably should have just shorted into today's rally because that to me, is something that is going to go a lot lower. And I've been using every rally, to sell into. But I just felt the way we kind of, stalled out last week that we may have put in a bottom in some of these names. So, I'll still kind of figure out what I'm going to do there. Yeah, I can't. My team hasn't come back to me with the link, Mustafa. So I don't know what the link to tonight's webinar is. Bank of Georgia. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for checking in. I'll be doing a webinar later today. I've been going through some of these price charts in more detail. But thanks again. I'm going to check out RUN and AYX. Thanks for bringing me those names. And so Bolshevik, Peloton popped and is now kind of coming off. So I don't know if these runs have run its course. We had Zoom, hit 275. It ran back to 310. Not quite sure what's going on in here. I'm not ready to jump on the trigger as quick as I was in the last couple of weeks. I feel like we try to find a bit of a bottom last week. And I'm just going to see how we play out. Right now, it's just a dangerous game, this intraday trading. It's just back and forth. And to me, I didn't feel like the NASDAQ ended in a way that it's just going to fail from here. So, I'm a little bit skeptical. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.